Hi there, and welcome to my Fourboysandanlgirl podcast. My name is Patty. I am coming to you from the east coast of Canada in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. I live on the extreme east side of the island of Newfoundland. This is Angel the cat. Sometimes she's my co-host. This is a podcast about knitting, crocheting, sewing, quilting, rug hooking, cross-stitching, basically anything I can get my hands on because I am a multi-craftual person. It is Thursday, December 7th, so I am taping again about a week after I did my last podcast, which makes me very happy because I want to keep trying to have these podcasts be a bit more regular from here on in. Hi, Angel. Angel's looking at the window, so I'm at a slightly different position today. I wanted to show off our beautiful Christmas tree. It's all decorated. I like colored lights on my tree. I know that's probably old-fashioned, but my Christmas decor is kind of a vintagey, country, eclectic mix of things. So I find that I like the colored lights outside our house. I'll show a picture of parts of our house later on this month, and we do use white lights, white icicle lights outside, but I do prefer a nice colored tree inside. So a few things to go over. I do have a finished object this week, but I can't show it to you. I finished my BFF cowl. I'll put that information on the screen. I was finishing that up for my pen pal partner Victoria. Hi Victoria at Victoria Knits Podcast. And I wanted to get that in the mail as soon as possible because it needs to get to Victoria and she needs to graft the ends together before the 31st of December. And it takes forever for me and Victoria to exchange any kind of post, snail mail. It is slower than a snail. She's in Montana and I'm in Newfoundland, and trying to get mail to each other takes a long time. So I didn't save it to show my finished object here today. And you know what? I forgot to take a picture of it. So Victoria, I need you to take a picture when it arrives at your house. I also put in a couple other goodies, so hopefully she'll enjoy those. So I'm going to go on to works in progress. I have like any crafter or knitter, I have a multitude of whips in progress, but I'm just going to show you a couple today. So I have some knitting whips. I had mentioned that one of the things that I am working on this month is the project piece knit along. That is I'm lost for words this morning. I haven't had enough tea apparently. It is a knit along shawl this year. It goes from the 1st of December through to the 21st of December, and I have to do some catch up, quite a bit of catch up. It's the 7th of December and I've only knit a very small part of this project. Anyway, it is a paid pattern. It's a $3 pattern, and the neat thing about the pattern this year is that the designer Christina has 3 or 4 charities that she's donating any income from this pattern to go towards. So it's still within the realms of peace and giving back to the community. So I have started my little shawl, and I'll show it to you. So that's the right side. Put it up there, see if you can see that. So it's just, you can just start to see the ripples in the shawl. It's an asymmetrical shawl starting at the point, and I really do have a lot of work left to do on this. However, I'm not going to stress myself out. I've got Christmas knitting. I needed to get my BFF cowl done. I still have a couple hats that I need to get done for Christmas. And I also have this baby blanket. So if you've been following me for a little while, you have seen this blanket before. I've stopped in the middle of the row, as I always do. So I am on the second side. I just need, I think, 3 more rows and I'll be finished this side of this border, and then I need to pick up stitches along the longer side. So I'm about, I guess we can say I'm about 50% finished the borders. And I also wanted to show you the flannel. So I have this flannel for my stash that I'm going to use. This is gorgeous. Well, it's flannel, so it should be gorgeous, but this is, I think this is going to look really cute on the back of this blanket. And as I've mentioned before, you may or may not remember, the reason that I'm going to put fabric on the back of this blanket is because the back of this blanket is not neat. It's, I don't like, so here's an example of where I've picked up stitches and the ridges where I've sewn things up and such, and I find it looks untidy, so I'm going to attempt, I've never done this before, I'm going to attempt to sew fabric on the back of this blanket and we'll see how it goes. I'm a quilter, so I usually like really precise or fairly precise sewing, and I got a feeling that the flannel plus the knitting is not going to be as precise a sewing job as I would like, so we'll see. Hopefully I'll be happy with the end result on that. So that's that project. I've shown you my project piece progress to date, which isn't much, but it's a start, and a start is a good thing. The other work in progress I wanted to show you is actually a hooked rug. I don't know if I've mentioned this before or not, but I think you know that I'm a member of the Rug Hooking Guild in Newfoundland and Labrador, and in fact I'm the editor, I'm the newsletter editor for the Rug Hooking Guild here. And I want to become an instructor with the Guild, and in order to do that there's a few steps that you need to follow, one of which is to take X number of hours of a beginner rug hooking class, which I haven't done. I've done small workshops with people, but not in a more formalized sense. So I'm lucky enough that one of my friends, hi Winnie, has agreed to let me participate in a couple of her beginner classes so that I can get my hours for those. And this is one of her patterns from a course that I did a couple weekends ago out in Clarenville for to work on those beginner workshop hours. So hopefully the camera is going to focus on that, and hopefully I have this kind of centered for the camera. It is an outhouse on some rocks. I haven't got the rocks hooked yet. Some trees in the background, and right now I am working on the sky, and I'm playing around. This color here, dark color up here in the sky, is probably not going to stay, but the blue, this blue here, is probably what I'm going to use to finish the rest of the holes in the sky. So that's my current rug hooking project. This is only hooked in, I'll show it again, this has only been hooked in with recycled t-shirts, and I love the texture that it's producing. I think I'll do some more work in t-shirts because I really like the texture. And I learned a lot from Winnie's class, one of which is how to cut. I do a lot of hand cutting of my fabric rather than using there's cutters that you can get or you can use a rotary cutter that you would use for quilting to cut out fabric, or you can use either a bolivar or a wool cutter for cutting your strips. I tend to do a lot of cutting by hand, and now in Winnie's class I learned how to cut in terms of what grain or what stretch the direction of the fabric that I need to cut. So that was really awesome. Thank you, Winnie. That was one of many things that I learned in Winnie's class, and I really, like I said, I really like the look that the t-shirt gives. If you're wondering, this blue denim that's around the exterior is not staying because I started this in Winnie's class on a smaller frame, and I wanted to finish it using my large frame at home. So I just sewed these pieces of fabric on to give enough so that wraps around my gripper strips on my frame to hold this taut so that I can hook. So that's that. What's next? I wrote notes today because I found that I'm fairly scatterbrained with the podcast, so I wrote notes today. The next thing I want to talk about is I was at the Family Resource Center again this week for craft morning, and we made these cute little ornaments, and I just wanted to show you this cute little ornament that I made there. It's a little tiny moose. Isn't he cute? Hopefully I'm centering that enough to focus with the camera. So it's just a little moose. I'm probably going to hang on the tree, so I need to put a hanger on him. Two sides, there's buttons on both sides of him. I cannot do a running stitch to save my life, apparently. It's been a long time since I've tried running stitch or hand quilting, and it doesn't look too bad on this side. On this side, my stitches look abysmal. But it's a cute, rustic looking ornament, and I really, really like it. The other knit along that I'm involved in and haven't started yet is the Canadian Afghan A pillow knit along. I will try and put the hashtag on the screen. I need to check with Fibre Friends ladies. Hi, Carolyn and Adrienne and Louise. I need to check with the ladies to see what the proper hashtag is, because I think I'm making up hashtags every single time that I post on Instagram. Anyway, I wanted to show, this is, and I'm not sure how this is going to show up in my light. This is PAM'S Canadiana, which is 100% acrylic, and the color is Toasty Gray. And so that's the color that I'm going to be using for my pillow, which I've said before is the Canada pattern. So it's more of it's going to be a rectangular pillow versus the square. And I was just going to show you it's this pattern right there. Hopefully the camera can focus on that. So it's going to be more of a rectangular, so more of, I'm imagining about this big. I can tell you the measurements actually. Let's see. The Canada flag is page 36. And, nope, okay, at the beginning, I know that the, no, I can't figure it out right now. Anyway, I know that it's more of it'll be a rectangular piece. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do in the back, if I'm going to do another Canadian flag or just do seed stitch on the back, but I will be knitting the back as well. For anybody who watched the podcast last week, thank you very much. For anybody who is new this week, I want to give you a bit of an update on our foster dog, Madison. So last week I spoke about, hi again Angel, I spoke about that we were starting to foster beagle dogs with the Beagle Paws organization, and Madison was here for exactly a week. On Monday, we dropped her off so that she could be introduced to a new family in hopes that she would be adopted, and she has in fact found her forever home. So we had a great week with her. She was a lovely dog. I'm really not surprised that that the trial adoption worked out so well, because she was a wonderful little dog. So though we're all sad Madison is gone, because we are, there were some tears shed when Madison left, we are all again happy that she's found her permanent home. So this coming week we are going to be introduced to another foster dog who is, if it works out, because she might be placed before we get introduced to her next week. If it works out, she's a 10-year-old dog, and so she's a little bit older than Madison. Madison was 5. She's reputed to be fairly quiet as well, and she needs to be spayed. And when the dogs are spayed or neutered, they don't like to leave them at the shelter because they want them to stay fairly calm and quiet. So we're going to be looking into that next week. So hopefully we will have a new dog by next week. So next time I podcast, maybe you'll see a new puppy dog. Myself and Lynn, hi Lynn, at the Sunshine and Bubblegum podcast had started a mystery craft along that was supposed to run from October to the 15th of November. We have, and this is completely my fault, I have not closed the thread yet, and so if you want to still keep putting things in there, please do. I'll be closing the thread today or tomorrow and announcing the winner and in next week, and showing off the prize for that craft along as well. I do apologize. This fall, like any fall, and the lead up before Christmas has been incredibly busy. You know that I was, for anybody who watches regularly, I was not feeling the best for a lot of November, and that didn't help us getting the craft along completed. So the good thing is if you had checked, the thread isn't closed yet, and you could still keep submitting projects. And the better news is that I'll be announcing a winner next week, and I'll be showing you the gorgeous prize that goes along with that craft along. And then please, I would like some comments either on Instagram or on Ravelry or here on YouTube about any alongs, so craft alongs or sew alongs or knitting alongs that you would like to see in the new year, because I'd like to do more, because it certainly seems people are interested in them. I'd like to see, I guess, get some input from some feedback from you in terms of what you might be interested in. The last thing that I wanted to do is I'd like to say hello to Pam. Hi Pam from Pam's Crafty Corner. I'll put her information on the screen. Pam did a shout out for me on my dory cross stitch pattern that she's working on recently, and I'll put the episode number up as well on so that if you're interested in having a look. Pam is a cross stitcher here from Newfoundland and Labrador as well. It turns out that she and I went to the same high school, which is incredible because I moved 7 times with my parents around the province, and so the fact that we went to the same high school and she knows my younger brother because she's a little bit younger than me is really incredibly small world coincidence and really, really cool. So we have made that connection. We've gotten together for coffee a couple times, one of which is when we were stitching together. Pam is an absolutely incredible cross stitcher, way more advanced than I am doing. She does full coverage pieces, so really big, intense cross-stitch pieces, which intimidate the heck out of me. So I think it's really cool that she's doing those, and I think inspired by Pam, I'm going to start what's called a journey piece at the beginning of the year, and that's more, a journey piece is something that you would choose to stitch that's either really big or really intimidating or means a lot to you, and that's what I'm going to be starting. So I'll talk about that over the next podcast or two, so you can have a look at what that looks like and what I plan on doing for that. So the only other thing I wanted to mention is that I'm going to be showing some footage from a hike that the boys and I took a few weeks ago when my husband was away. That's why he's not in it. This is a hike down to an area close to where we live in Cove, and it was a great day. The neat thing about this day, after I took the footage that I did, was that we were watching 2 seals swim offshore, and it was just their little heads bobbing in the ocean, so I couldn't show them. It didn't make any sense for me to take a video to try and see the seals because you couldn't really see them, but that was really neat. We got to see a couple of seals and watch them swimming back and forth, and the little heads bopping up and then going underwater and then bopping up over here and going back and forth, so that was really neat. Anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed the podcast. If you have, then I would love it if you clicked and subscribed to my channel, and I hope that you have time this week to do something crafty that makes your heart happy. Take care. Bye-bye.